Hello everyone, this is Christopher Jones. I'm the Director of Bands at Richland County High School. I'm putting together a tutorial on how to use CutTime. CutTime is a subscription that the Richland County High School Music Department uses to manage logistics for both the choir and the band. Most important for parents and students would be the calendar and financial. We track student accounts. For those that are not aware of what student accounts are, this is not just the general student accounts, this is the band or choir, the music department's student account. So each student has their own accounts that they can build up money, pay bills from, using either fundraisers or making direct payments, and that can be used towards purchasing reeds, for fees, for classes, going to Disney and stuff like that. So we have, to find CutTime, you can either go directly to the website, which is cuttime.net, and then click on sign in, or you can go to the band's website and potentially the choir, although I'm not familiar with that website, but you can go to www.rchsbands.net and then click on the CutTime link. Here, if you click on CutTime setup instructions, you will see essentially a checklist of items on how to create a student or band accounts. So you just have to follow these steps. And I will include this this document at the very end of the video so that you are able to put together an account. And I encourage all students have an account. We initially created using their RCCU1 accounts, and we put in their financial balance on that account, but as soon as we see that students, especially the freshmen coming in from the middle school, we have them switch almost immediately to their personal email addresses. Reason for that, the school blocks any email addresses that are not RCCU1, so they would not receive any information from CutTime. And for that matter, when students graduate, we would like to stay in touch with those students as part of the Richland County Alumni Association. So let's click back under CutTime. If you want to log in, I've created a student account, a dummy account if you will. So we're going to click on the login feature, login button rather, and then we're going to click on sign in. And we'll put in the dummy student's, the fake student's email address, which is jsmith. Hopefully I remember. There we go. So now we have the accounts. You can see at the very top, people. This shows everyone that is in the program, RCHS program. They have a limited view of their information. And then we have assignments. For the most part, I would use Smart Music for assignments, but there are occasions where assignments may come up on CutTime, such as a research project or a research paper, although I also use Google Classroom for that. We have the calendar, and you can sort it by different ensembles. I don't believe choir is up there just yet, but we do have for the different ensembles. So if you want to search for Marching Tigers, you can see their information. We have under volunteers, there are occasions where we may send out saying, "Hey, we need help. Can you parents, can you help us set up let's say a banquet, a dinner and a concert," and we would use this feature for you to register to help out. Files and docs, we mainly use the RCHS website, RCHS Bands website for the band side. I'm sure choir has their own, but there may be occasions where we post under the files and docs. So let's go back to CutTime. I'm going to click on CutTime, the CutTime logo, to take us back to our home screen. You can see John Smith's screen again. This is our pretend student. Under the tab for John, we can change our profile information, or we can sign out here. For any news, when we send out news, it would show up in this box here, this display here. We have assignments, likewise would show up here. RSVP for events. Let's say we have that dinner and a concert. We'd like to know if you're going to come. We can send that out through this, and you can register on the RSVP for events. Most importantly, we have the financial obligations and payments. This is for each student accounts for the RCHS Music Department. They can click on these statements and turn it into a PDF if they would like. This is generally how we email things out. Either Mrs. Daimel or I or Mr. Whitecamp will send it out to email, the registered emails, so they can receive monthly payments or installments or updates, rather, statements. But you can also see all the information on the main screen. So just to break this down, because it is a little bit unusual, is it's not like you would expect to see under your checking account if you logged in on a website to check your statement. They break it into two different captions. So we have obligations, which are essentially bills, and we have payments, which are the payments, paying into it, either fundraisers or through checks or through cash. So the only exception to the obligations, which are bills, would be the opening balance. So if we have a student transferring in from St. Jill or from RCMS, and they have already accrued money from their student accounts from over there, that money transfers up to the high school, and we would enter it in here. So the date assigned would be essentially the date. Well, actually, it may well not change. This may be, we're looking probably sometime in June of next year. Just the year would change. But really, the important thing is the amount would show 0, so we're actually not charging for that. And if they have a student account, they have money from previous years, it would go into the paid column, which would give them a plus column. The other ones are under the obligations are actually bills. So we're looking at here, and again, this is not a real student, so this is not a real statement. But if we look under Disney World payment, this would be the second payment for one reservation. We have the assigned date here, which happened to be the date of this recording because, well, again, I just created this account for this purpose. The due date, which is actually real, the due date for this was in July 5th of 2018 for an amount of $200 installment for that one reservation. This pretend student paid $200 in for that amount, leaving that balance for that bill as 0. Music department apparel, so the student bought clothing. The total purchase was $48, and again, he made a purchase of $48. And then we have the Disney. So again, $200. In this case, the student did not make the payment, leaving a $200 balance for this. Now this total obligations only shows what has been billed over the course of this fiscal year, which in this case all total equals $448. That is not the account balance. For that, we need to move on to the next column, the next section, which are the payments. These are the payments here. So we have for the Disney World trip payment 2, which we have up here. This is how much they owed. They made a payment of $200, and it was paid by check. So this shows through here as well through the pay column what has been paid. If it's a fundraiser, it would not show up. We would show, well, it can show up two different ways. It can show up here. If it's a candy bar sale or another fundraiser, we would put down that they purchased 68 candy bars, and of that, half of that is due, and then the remainder would come down here. So the money that has gone into the account for this purpose is $248. So it's just a simple math thing. We have bills of $448. We have paid $248 of that, so the balance for this owed on this account is $200. So this student, Johnny, owes $200. If it is, let's say that in this column right here, this student owes $200, but they paid $400, both here, which would also show down here, then that would actually show a positive balance of $200. And what shows as a positive balance would be parentheses. And that is something that we're not used to seeing in checking accounts. If you usually see parentheses, it means that we owe the bank money, but in this case, it's the other way around. So without parentheses, there's a debt that is owed to the music program. With the parentheses, you have a surplus in your account. So moving on, if you would, we have students, or if this is a parent account, we need to make sure that we fill out the demographic information, contact demographic information. So we have here first name of John, last name Smith. We can create a nickname. So let's say John Smith goes by Johnny. I have also created a username. So if they don't want to use their email address to log in, they can just use jsmith. So it's a little quicker shorthand. Date of birth. We have the student number here, student ID number. This is their Skyward number. We would use this on occasions if we want to create a report to post and say, hey, this is how much money you have, or this is how much money you do not have. In case if that account is in the red, then we would post it by the student number, not by the name. So it's important that we get that student ID number, and the students should provide that. Of course, grade level, locker number. This is the band locker number, not the school locker number. We'd have their combination. Folder number if they have an assigned folder. Private teacher. So in this case, Johnny has Eric Combs as a private instructor. The student's gender. Email address. So this is where they can update their email address if they happen to change. Their home address. I just put down the school's address. Their home phone number. The mobile number would be important to have as well. So let's say that we want to contact them. We want to send out a mass notice. We could use this service to send out a mass text. Although we will use Remind 101 for that. Of course, we want to put down the provider. And then if you happen to have a work number or extension. Below we have the students will put down what ensembles they participate. So in the 2018-19 school year, this student participated in the Marching Tigers, was a clarinet player, and happened to be a section leader. And likewise, they are participating in Disney. So 2018-19, they're going to Disney. Again, woodwind, clarinet, section leader. And they put down their nice picture here. So this would be a representation of the student picture. Going down here, we have medical information. So for instance, the Marching Tigers, if they have a medical issue that happens during the preseason camp, let's say we're at Eastern Illinois University, we have contact information, emergency phone numbers, existing conditions that we can give those first responders so that they know what's going on and what not to give them for medication. Relationship. Relationship is how we would tie in a student to a mom and dad, which right now I cannot do, unfortunately, but we can tie Johnny's parents to this, so Johnny's parents can create their own account and see a lot of the important information, especially financials, the financial statements and account balances. That's how we would do that. Uniform size, Mrs. Diamond will take care of that. This is how we track their information, so you don't have to worry about that. Login, if you want to create a new password, you would do that under password here. Inventory, I don't have anything assigned here, but we would have, if they have instruments signed out to that student, it would show up here, including lockers, instruments, tuners, and so forth. And a tire, we can put down a tire here. And any notes. This is the student view, so these notes, I believe, would show to the director. So if you would like to put down, if you would like to leave notes down here for the director, that's where you can put those in. And that is predominantly, that's CutTime in a nutshell. So if you have any questions, again, please feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. I'll post the directions on how to set up an account at the very end of this tutorial. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.